Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. So I kind of wanted to do a video kind of revisiting all of my previous December daily scrapbooks and journals. I think most of them are more scrapbooky than journal-y, but yeah, I just kind of wanted to go and revisit them. Last year, I did not do a December daily, so I have 6 December dailies. My first one was in 2016 and my last one was 2021. Yes, because last year was 2022. Oh my goodness. Yes, I didn't do one last year. I had every intention. I had a beautiful paper collection that I wanted to use and kind of mix and match, and I just didn't get around to it for reasons that I really don't want to talk about anymore on my channel, but if you go back, you'll know. So, anyway, but yeah, like 2022 was a very, very emotionally difficult year. And I didn't do a December daily. And so I kind of want to do one. I normally, like the previous couple of years, I followed like prompts. So I know one year I followed, Seuss had that, like she had like did a printable that had like little prompts. I followed that. I believe my last one I followed Kasia Avery's Care December. It used to be her Advent calendar because I followed that one too one year, but it's now Care December. So yeah, I kind of want to maybe do Care December again. I'm not actually sure if she's doing it again this year, or I know there's another one. There's like an Advent art journal, something like that. What is the Instagram handle? Is like Raspberry Sky. Oh my god, I will try to leave links in the description. But I know I'm signed up to the newsletter already for that, so that's like email prompts each day for December. I want to do something of the sort, right? I just got an email today that Liz, lovely Liz Lamoureux, she's doing like a December version of 5 things, and that was fun when I did it. So yeah, I have options, but I do want to keep a journal for December. And I'm thinking of doing a small journal, so like my last couple of ones have been like little A6 journals like this, and this is kind of my happy place in terms of like kind of like a journaling challenge like this. So I'll probably do it that size, but I kind of wanted to come on and take some time to look through my past December dailies. So I believe all of these I should have flip throughs of on my channel somewhere, in the past. If you just like go onto my channel and use the little search bar, like that's within my channel, to search in the channel and just write December daily, you'll get all the flip throughs for like all of these scrapbooks, memory keeping journals. Yeah, but I just kind of wanted to go through now and kind of see like what I did previously up until like my last little one, and just to get some ideas. And I thought it would be fun to film it so that maybe you can get some ideas, because December daily is right around the corner, and I know some of you probably already have whatever you're using for it done, and you have foundation pages and all the things, and maybe some of you don't. So I kind of wanted to come on and just film a video just going through some of mine. And so the 2 that I have here are the bigger, basically A5 ones. This one I did in like a little binder, and then I transferred it into here because it was so small, like there wasn't that many pages, and then having it in the binder just looked silly. So I just kind of transferred it into like sort of like a bound sort of thing. And then I think this was 2016 and this one was 2018. So 2 years later, I decided to do that exact same thing. And then the December daily that's in between these two is this very small one, because I didn't like doing this. I remember I didn't like doing, so I did this one the traditional Ali Edwards way with the binder and all the things, and I hated it. One, I should give like a backstory here that like I don't celebrate Christmas, and so I don't really celebrate the holiday stuff. So I don't have holiday stories like most people have, because I just don't celebrate them. So I decided to keep this one sort of like a winter scrapbook, and it's just basically straight up just documenting my December. And so I did, since it was in a binder, I did a bunch of loose pages like this. Like everything is like falling apart. This is how old this is. I think I used glue. Oh no, this is a sticker, so like it wasn't even glued down, but it's just kind of, I don't know how I had it. Stick this in here like this. Goodness. Okay, hopefully that stays. But yeah, I used loose pages like this, and then I put some of these pocket pages in between and did some little pocket page things, and that's a little tag. And I remember I was on the Hip Kit Club design team, and so this was the Hip Kit Club, the kit. All these pieces were from the kit, so it's a mixture of Hip Kit Club stuff, and I believe the bulk of it was Snow and Cocoa, crepe paper Snow and Cocoa. I know I did these little, this was one of my tutorials for the Hip Kit Club blog, were these little gingerbread men paper clips using one of the cut files from Hip Kit. But yeah, it's like, you know, when you're on like a scrapbooking team, you're kind of expected around the holidays to do kind of holiday stuff, and like I don't celebrate the holidays, so this was my first. I decided, you know what, I can probably create a December daily and make it non-traditional. So I love that this kit was non-traditional, and it was a winter kit, and I can make it not about Christmas, because so maybe some people don't celebrate Christmas or any of the holidays, and so that's what I attempted to do here. So these little oh my goodness, the numbers are ones that I made on Photoshop myself. And that's what I did. I just kind of documented per day using a mixture of the pocket pages and like the regular pages, and some pockets I did have jury duty. I remember this jury duty that day. And yeah, I made this in a binder, and I will never do this again. So this is not my preferred December daily. I did not like it. And so I think it's because it was so big, and I didn't have much to document. And usually when I don't have much to document, I don't like working big, is basically it. So yeah, this one's really short, and yeah, that's that one. We're just gonna like, yeah, that one. That one's my first one, the 2016 one. And since I hated it so much, I was like, no, I'm not going to do a December daily the next year. Like, there's no way. I didn't enjoy it, so I decided not to. I made this little book instead. And this little book was seriously just an afterthought, but it's a tiny little, I believe it's a pocket, so like pocket size, like pocket TN size, little journal thingy that I made. I was on the Fairy Tale Club design team, and I used that holiday kit. And that holiday kit was like, it was like pastel, like these colors. And then either the A or B sides were the traditional green and red. So it was like a mixture. And so I decided just to use all the ones that were just like this, very snowy, very wintry, very cute and pastel-y, because I am not about the Christmas red and green. That is just not, that is like the worst color scheme. It's complementary colors. I get it, but it is just the worst. It's the worst color scheme. So anyway, my cover here is just made out of paper. If I can open it up. And it is pretty much like quilted. I sewed it. I cut these little pieces up into little squares, and I kind of sewed it all together. And then it's sewed onto this bigger piece. And then I put a couple of die cuts, some snowflake die cuts up here, some little trims, and all my pages are like sort of like junk journal-y pages. Is a mixture of scrapbooking paper, book paper, regular printer paper, and music paper and stuff like that. And I called this my December Reflections. And that was because every December, I'm not even sure if Susanna Conway still does it, but Susanna Conway, she's the other pretty much love of my life, along with Liz Lamoureux. She does a Instagram photo challenge called December Reflections. And it's basically, she'll give you prompts each day, and you have to share a photograph that is related to the prompt. And so that year I did it. I did December reflections. And so what I decided to do in this book was print out the photograph that I shared and then print out basically the little caption that I wrote in my Instagram post. And so I typed up all of my little captions and I printed them out really, really small. And then I printed out all of my Instagram photos that I shared. And each page is basically the photo and the Instagram caption with the prompt. So this one was day 1 and it was early, and that was the prompt. And then of course the dog's like the first thing you see, etc. And some of my captions were longer than others, I guess, and some of them were short. And all I did was embellish. I backed everything with the pattern paper, embellished with some of the die cuts and the stickers and stuff like that. But I kept this one really simple and really low key because, again, I wanted to document something in December, but I also just hated a December daily. And since I was doing this challenge already, I decided to create this, and this was one of my projects for the Fairy Tale Club. And yeah, I thought it came out super cute. I probably would never do this again because I kind of found the type of December journal that I personally like to keep. But this is an idea if you want something super, super low key. And yeah, it could be like any prompt that you follow, it doesn't have to be December reflections, but that's what was for me this year. And I just made this really cute little book, some pages in the back, and then this was like a little bookmark. I just kind of left it back here, but that was 2017. And yeah, very cute, very simple. Probably won't do this ever again, but it helped. I know this time of year can be super busy for a lot of people, and so this is something really low-key that you can do. And I compiled this book like basically halfway through December. So I didn't do it like real time, just halfway through, and then I ended up finishing it up. But just so you know, this was definitely an afterthought. And then in 2018, I went back to the A5, 6x8 sort of size, binder size, but I decided not to do it in a binder. I decided to do it just loose strings like this. I made my covers out of chipboard paper and this white lacy fabric that is turning yellow, and that's just from, I think it's the glue. You can see the glue through the fabric now that it's like a couple of years old and not archival, clearly. But and then it's getting dirty because it's white. Oh my god, it's white and it's been sitting on a shelf. But this is 2018, and I remember doing this in sort of a Seuss fish scrap therapy style. That was kind of the thing within our little Seuss group, was kind of doing that that process that Seuss did, where she would just scrapbook or make a page or something for the fun of it, right? It wasn't necessarily to document anything of the day. So this one doesn't really have dates like the other ones do, because that's how I was working through it. I was adding things that happened in December. This was, I didn't go to Universal in December of this year, but this was a picture when I did go to the Harry Potter World thing. But I did go see this Harry Potter exhibit at the New York Historical Society with some friends that December, and so I threw that in here. But this was all about the process. Like, I made this page separate from this page, and I just journaled a little bit, but for the most part all the pages are like that. I would just make a page and have fun with it and journaled. And again, sort of similar color scheme of like my previous two December books. This one is very crepe paper, snow and cocoa, but a lot of Seuss printables. I think a lot of this stuff is Seuss fish. Oops, I just pulled that up. There's journaling on this little tag here. But yeah, just like did some art journaling. I remember I was on the Get Messy team, the Get Messy creative team this year. And so I did some art journal, kind of loose art journal pieces, and put this in here. This was, I feel like this was a live. This was a Get Messy live. We used to have like this thing called Messy Conversations, and this one was with Allie Brown, and this is what I did during that live. So like that, little things like that. This has journaling on this. Felicity Jane packaging, and another sort of art journal-y type spread in here. But yeah, so I started to include a little bit of mixed media in this one particularly. But look, I made the shaker pocket and I put some photographs in it, and that was what I did for the day. Like, currently, like, this was so low key. I remember doing this one in particular after watching Love Actually for like the millionth time. Another art journaling piece here. I received a lovely gift from Seuss this year. This is the card. I just put it straight in, and then that's all this was. This was also very low key and like not stressful at all, because I worked in here whenever I felt like it. And so this is me. This is an exercise that I did. It was on the Get Messy that season, and I just followed it and just stuck it in here. This was a piece of artwork from Mariah. So since we were all on the team, we sent like postcards to each other. I tucked that in there. Shaker. Just, yeah, low key. Scrap therapy. I do like the scrap therapy versions of these. So this one, I do like this one. I love the process, the scrap therapy, and just working in here whenever I felt like it, and not so much chronologically. And so I know that for the following year, I kind of wanted to do this, but in a smaller scale, and I wanted to do something a little different. What I really enjoyed about this one in particular is the fact that I did some mixed media, that I did do some art journaling, or I tried to do that in here. And so for my next one, this one's 2019's, I decided to really commit to adding the mixed media portion into here. But you can see this was the first little one that I did. So I remember when I thought about making this one, I was obsessed, absolutely obsessed with Paige Evans and like all of her little mini books that she does for October Daily, for December Daily. Oh my God, she does these little cute ones, right? And she's like known for like her Coptic books and everything like that. Anyway, so I decided, you know what, I'm going to do a Paige Evans and I'm going to do a Coptic book. I didn't anticipate my book getting so big like this and the spine being like this, but it's whatever. Let's go through this one. So this one, I went the Coptic book route, and my covers are chipboard that I covered in fabric and paper. And it's the same. It's the same in the back. And there are, oh goodness, 4 signatures in here, and then some beads, because that is a very Paige Evans thing to do. And my cover, I have some chipboard pieces. So for this one, I used a mixture of what I had. I have a lot of Snow and Cocoa, and I had bought, this was the year that Crepe Paper came out with another winter line, not so much Christmas, and it was Snowflake. And so I bought a few pieces from that. So it's a mixture of Snow and Cocoa and Snowflake. And yeah, this chipboard piece is from Snowflake. And then these were stars that I had from a really old Studio Calico kit. And I just kept it really simple. And yeah, so it's still very scrapbooky. I always do like a reason why introduction. I mean, all my journals get introductions, but especially the December daily ones. And I remember this was the year that I did all these printables, and so this was one of my printables, and I just stuck it in here. This is the Susanna Conway December Reflections, because I figured I would use some of these prompts as well. Lots of journaling in this one. And then this is what I mean. I started doing things like this, which was getting messy with some mixed media. These are stars. I don't know if you can see it. There's some paper stars that I cut up and put in here, and there's some paint on this page. There's just so definitely some journaling, and so and then gold stars. These I believe were cut files from Hip Kit Club that I just cut on like white cardstock. This is like another example of kind of combining the mixed media with sort of like the scrapbooking. I did this a lot in this particular journal and I absolutely loved it. Loved it. I loved it so much. Like just doing little art journal pages, but also keeping it for December daily. I think there's journaling on this tag here. And so a lot of these pages are layered and have paint on them, and a lot of them have paint splatters specifically. This day I watched Snowpiercer again with that same cut file and paint and ink and things like that. So very messy. You can see there's ink splatters in the background. Very layered, very texture. And I still did my memory keeping. This is another one. These are those little, ooh, that came off. These are those little, what you call it, trees from that Snow and Cocoa paper. I think it was, I don't even remember which side was glued down. I think it was the white one. But yeah, super messy, super fun, very low key again. I think the white ink was my favorite through this one in particular. Just a collage of different things. This, my grandmother passed away this year. She passed away in November of this year. But you know, I had like the little card that we did, so I printed out a smaller version of it to stick in here because we had like a little family kind of reunion like a month later after she had passed. So that's this. This I'm not going to unwind, but it's basically an accordion of like all the movies that I watched in December. This was a Heidi Swapp stencil that I ran modeling paste through. So I actually gessoed the page and because it was like a really bright red page, so I gessoed it, and like I don't know, the gesso did this funky little ombre thing, and I don't know where the blue came in, and then I was like, that looks really pretty, and then I did the modeling paste through the Heidi Swapp stencil. So cute. I love that. My friends and I, one of our friends, their birthday is the 28th, and so it's like around holidays. I remember this was the last movie I went to go see in theaters with my brother before you know, the pandemic happened. I put Knives Out in here, and then I think this was New Year's, and yeah, just fun times with friends, and love this little book. This little book was so low-key. It was still very scrap therapy, but a lot of the art journaling elements in it, and still very much a scrapbook of what happened in my December. So because I love this so much, in 2020 I decided to do something similar, but not like this. And so I did this chunky beast. And I figured I would do this exact same thing, except do it in like rings, so that I had enough space to kind of chunk it up, because this alligator mouth was not good looking. But I still managed, I needed bigger rings, but it is what it is at this point. So this is 2020. Had a lot for this one, only because this was like the first time that I did it per day, and I labeled all the days. All the days. I followed these prompts from Seuss, and yeah, I did a kind of combination of scrappy, actually, I think this one's a bit more scrap therapy-like and a little less art journal-y, but I still love it if I can get it open. But I put this little charm here. My covers were created the same way. It's chipboard covered in fabric. I had this beautiful pink snowflake fabric and then lined with paper. This was a gift bag that my Seuss Fish gift came in years prior, and I saved it because it had these silver stars on it. And the back is basically the same. So I just made it like that, and then all the pages are made with different types of papers. I will say I use the exact same papers for like almost all of my December dailies. Crepe paper, Snow and Cocoa, some snowflake paper, and some Seuss Fish printables. that's because I have a lot of that. Those are the, I guess, the the winter type papers that I have, and the color schemes are all the same because I just really love this color scheme. You'll see in my last one that I did, the one for 2021, that I incorporated more Amity Blooms, Nazi's printables, because I wanted more a vintagey feel. And this year I think I'm going to go that route as well. I have paper. I have a paper collection that I bought for last year's December Daily that I didn't use, but it wasn't a winter collection, but it still has these pastel colors in like pale pink and blues. So it still has that feel to it, but I want to use some of Nazi's papers to make it a little bit more vintagey because I liked that aesthetic when I did it in 2021. Anyway, so that's what I've used in this one. These are actually felt hearts from Felicity Jane. This is from Crepe Paper Snow and Cocoa. And then of course my fabric, I get them, I got this particular fabric from an online shop called Fat Quarter Shop. I will leave links down below for those. This I had gotten, Kelly Perky had sent me like, one of those little PRE type packages that had a lot of her Christmas product in it. And in it came these letterpress tags that are like the date. And so that is how I dated this entire book, for these Paper Person Shop little letterpress number tags. Love them, so beautiful. But you can already see all the Seuss fish paper here. This Hello's an old Heidi Swapp chipboard. Winter, I believe this is crepe paper, and then again Seuss paper, like Seuss's printables. And I did the same thing. So this was my reason why, my intro. I always have a calendar. Hope was a huge thing, a huge theme for this December, because we were all basically trapped in our homes for like a while with what was occurring. So this was a very interesting December daily, and I'm actually really, really glad that I have this much of it. Like, I have all of these pages documenting it, because I remember this year being a very hard year in general for me to document things, which was interesting because I was on the Felicity Jane design team as well this year. But I remember I didn't take any pictures this year. I did my scrapbooking projects, but like pictures weren't things that I wasn't taking any pictures. And towards like the ending of the year, I kind of felt a little burnt out with the scrapbooking, and a lot of emotions, a lot of new things happening for me this year. And yeah, this was just a mixed bag. But I went day by day, and each day had a prompt, and I responded to the prompt. Some pages have the prompt there and some don't, but this was definitely a prompt-based December daily. Very, very scrapbooky. This one actually has some modeling paste on it. Had fun with layering things, and a lot of these photos are photos that I took, like previously. Like, these weren't fresh photos at all. Some pages don't even have photos. I remember this was something new that happened to me, and a lot of journaling about that, and so that's private, and I stuck it into one of these Felicity Jane pockets. But yeah, some pages don't have photos at all. It's just little scrapbooking, very scrap therapy, journaling. Oh my god, Animal Crossing. Save everybody's life in 2022. This is like the closest thing that I have to like photos. That's me and my two friends on, I believe, no, this was on one of their islands. Yeah, that's like the closest that I have. That year, since we couldn't get together like we normally do, we sent each other cards, and so I put all of my friends' cards in here, which was very cute. I love, especially since a lot of them were small, I love just including them in to my journal here. But yeah, this is what I mean by some pages just don't have photographs. They just are, My friend, this was I think her letter's back here, but she drew this of me, and I just had to put it in my journal. Yeah, I really love this one. I love this one because it was memory keeping, but without photographs, and I've been horrible at taking photographs lately, so I'm pretty sure my December daily for this year won't have as many. But it was a lot of journaling and a lot of getting feelings out and stuff like that. My friend John sent me this lovely postcard, and I believe my address is in the back here, so we're just gonna do that. Oh dear. I don't think I had much to say about the 15th, and that's why that's there. But yeah, one little word, thinking about my one little word. I think these are the only photographs that I have in here that are current, and it snowed, and so me and my partner at the time, we went to Central Park, and I took these. That day was really cold. We started watching Avatar: The Last Airbender over again because it was on Netflix. I love this. And Do Not Disturb until 2021. Because this was 2020s, yeah. So a lot of these things, this was a paper person shop stuff. You know, I think everyone was hopeful that 2021 would be a better year. And I find that out of all the quarantine years, that 2021 was actually the worst year. 2020 was like a shock to the system, you know, but I think 2021 really settled. It settled in. And I know some parts of the world were opening up, like us crazy Americans, but we still had that, you know, that second and third wave that hit. And yeah, it was just, I think 2021, that, and I think it kind of like hit people at that moment that, oh wow, we're probably not going to go back to normal like ever. Things are definitely going to change. I know for a fact that 2021 for me was a worse year than 2020. And I have friends who feel that same way. But yeah. Oh, this was a cute one that my friend, she took a picture of her with all her plants and then made them postcards. So cute. Oh no, just love it. Everybody is a homebody in 2020. So a lot of sentiments are in here of, like that. Soul, I watched that. Yeah, just a lot of journaling and a lot of just documenting in that way. Again, I hope for, that was the prompt for the last day. And these were all I hoped for. The end page. I really love this one. This one, it makes me happy to look through it because even though 2020 was not the year that we all wanted or expected, yeah, definitely there was a lot of fear and a lot of challenges and a lot of big emotions in 2020, but I wouldn't say that that was the worst of it, you know? And I remember having a really good time this December. This was a good December, and I think you can tell by all of this. I've noticed that I don't tend to scrapbook or memory keep or art journal very often now whenever I'm feeling highly emotional and highly, I guess, charged, you know, just, I don't want to say depressed, but like, you know, sad and depressed and stuff like that. I don't document. I don't memory keep. I don't art journal. What I do is straight up write, and so you can tell if I have a lot to like show, it's because I'm feeling good. It's very weird. I know some people are the opposite. Like I know for a fact that Seuss tends to overproduce when she feels like really, you know, emotional in that way. I mean, she overproduces like all the time. Like it's just her jam. It's just how she kind of copes with things. But yeah, I'm sort of kind of the opposite. I don't do it as much. And so 2021 was, again, like I said, a very difficult year for me. At least half of it was. And so the ending half of it was. So that really affected my December daily. But I wanted to do one anyway. And I really love this one. So I kind of want to do this again, but for this year. And so again, this is an A6 journal, and I bound it differently. So my covers are chipboard that I covered in like this little quilt of different fabric pieces, and this is paper on the inside and the same in the back, and I attached both of them via a piece of lace. It's a piece of lace, and then I use seam binding to attach the two signatures. And I did it that way because my spine was longer. It was a longer piece of lace that I attached here. And when I didn't fill this up like I thought I was going to fill it up, I think I removed a signature, and then I peeled this back, cut down the lace, and then reinserted and then glued it back to make it smaller. So that way I didn't have that alligator mouth, and for this one I didn't fill it up all the way, so I didn't have it chunky, basically. And so now it's like a little perfect little thing. But I really love this one. I followed Care December. And so this one is, again, very art journal-y, but also a little bit of memory keeping in here and definitely a lot of journaling. I love this little size. I used, I think most of my papers are printables from Amity Bloom, along with book pages and like some scrapbooking paper. But yeah, so this is December 2021. And I did start, of course, with an introduction, my reason why. I know one of the first prompts in Care December was a palette, and so this was the palette that I thought I was going to use, but I didn't actually end up using it, but it's okay, it's pretty. And I don't actually remember what all the other prompts were. I just kind of did what felt right. A lot of journaling. This is when I got really deep into my journaling practice in my little A6 books, and so I continued on with that in here. This was a piece of like one of those spinny art things that one of the little girls next door gave to me, and I had to just make a vellum pocket and put it in there because I thought that was beautiful. This is what I mean. I got really creative. I was feeling a lot of things, very heavily emotionally charged, and this is my reaction on the page. It will be all right. Yeah. And I try to do it daily, so I do have dates. My friends and I would play this game. What is this called? Gartic Phone. I don't remember. It's like you could go to the website and play it with your bunch of friends. Honestly, this seems like such a long time ago, but this got me by in December because I really needed that friend connection. And again, we couldn't see each other in person. And so to play this game with my friends, it took my mind off of what I was thinking about, what I was worrying about, what I was crying over. A lot of journaling. I really appreciate my friends at this moment. But again, another art journal spread. Be gentle with yourself. I think this was me kind of talking to my really heartbroken person that was going through a lot of things. Here, a lot of lace and whimsy stuff I noticed in here. But yeah, more journaling. Sometimes emptiness, but it's okay because we journal. This again, oh, this prompt was clouds. I remember this one. Today I choose to be happy. Yeah, just like I can see myself like working on these pages and feeling these things. This was a hot mess, but it's okay because I journaled about it. This one, again, just this day I just put paint onto a page and that was all that I could do. And it was fine. It was okay. Same here. Keep going, keep growing. This was a little sentiment that I did and posted on Instagram about gentle unfurling, my kind of phrase. I think I went shopping with my mom on this day. We went to return something and then we bought some more things. I remember that day. That's why the little hat's there. Some more journaling and more journaling. I got my Get Messy art book this day. Oh, I was working on a podcast. I was working for a podcast as their social media manager. And one of the episodes that I had listened to, the guest had said this: perfectionism is a defense mechanism. And I had to put that in there because I'm a perfectionist. I'm a recovering perfectionist, but that is so true that perfectionists, we tend to be perfect and do things perfect and have that sort of motivation, but that we have to do this because if we're not perfect, then people won't love us and stuff like that. But it stems from our childhoods, and it is a defense mechanism in a way because if I remember correctly, the guest was saying that as a child, we can begin to react to things in one of two ways. One is that you kind of act out. You become the comedian, the class clown, not so much the troublemaker, but like the more extroverted kind of, I don't want to say attention seeker, but that's how a child would react, to kind of gain that appreciation from their peers or for their family members or whatever. And then the other child, the second way would be to be perfect, to strive, to perform well in order to get that positive feedback. And so, yeah, it was just, I kind of loved listening to that. And so it went into the journal. This one, again, was just a simple thing. One of the girls, my next door neighbor, the same one who gave me the little painting, gave me a paper snowflake, and I glued it into my journal because it's very cute. And so in it went, and I did put some splatters and some sentiments, but yeah. Those same girls, the older one, I tutor in math, and so she gave me a card here, and I put that in, journaling, some more journaling. I watched all of Hawkeye. I binge watched all of that. This was from a magazine. This was a poem I wrote, and I just cut it up and put it in here. Ron's Gone Wrong was a cute movie that I watched on this day. This is a screenshot of the podcast because I started working as their social media manager in late November, and so this was me heavily in it. And this is insane that the screenshot, it says here it had when I started, it had 5,133 followers. When I left this job, because I got my current job that I have now, I left this Instagram account with 56,000 followers. Don't know how that happened, but it's insane just to see the growth of that account, you know, from the beginning to like where I left it until now, right? It was insane. So I kind of wrote about that because every week I was listening to a new episode of the podcast so that I can make the graphics for the Instagram. And yeah, this is a very good podcast. I highly recommend Being Well podcast with Rick Hansen and Forrest Hansen. It's I'm not biased because I used to work there. I just genuinely, if you're into personal growth and mental health and sort of psychology of human behavior, it's definitely the podcast to listen to. This was the one day in December that I got to see friends. So some pictures that I took. And then, of course, my try and true, Love Actually. I watched this movie at least 3 times every December. It's literally my favorite Christmas movie. Emily in Paris came out, the new season, and I binged the whole thing. Yeah, that happened. COVID scare. Didn't have COVID, but had to put that there. This is like that little certificate of authenticity thingy that you get in the kits, in the at-home kits. Journaling. A lot of journaling here. Heavy emotions, big feelings, lots and lots of journaling. Just a lot of journaling. I remember this being a lot of journaling. I drew Grogu because I had started watching Mandalorian. So I had Mandalorian season 1 and season 2 because I didn't watch it when it came out and fell in love. Fell in love with Mandalorian and this little cute thing. And I drew Grogu. I feel like I can draw him better now, but yeah, so I had to cut him up because I drew him on a really thick, I think this is colored pencil paper. So I cut him out and kind of stuck him in my journal because that was really cute. He's so cute. Journaling about that. Some more journaling. All the journaling. I think the rest of it is just journaling. And then my word for 2022 that I didn't do because 2022 was the absolute worst year. But yeah, my little December daily was really, really small. And this was the last one that I did. And I really love this. I love this. Just art journaling, smearing paint on a page, whatever comforted me, the journaling, the writing of the journaling. This was basically how in 2022 I kept all of my journals. I kept them really small, kind of like everything goes. Journal is part art journal, part junk journal, part memory keeping, scrapbook, and then straight up journaling. And that is kind of how I want to do my December daily for this year. And so I'm pretty sure I'm going to go this route and do it in this format. But I just kind of wanted to come on and just look through my December dailies with you in case, again, you found inspiration and little pieces and wanted to try some things, and just to see my evolution too, right, with the December dailies. And I thought it would be an interesting video to share. And so I really hope that you enjoyed this look at all of my previous past December dailies, December journals, and I'm really excited. I haven't actually made my journal yet. I feel like I'm gonna make it in this way. And yeah, I have to make my kit. I have to pull everything out. I'm so glad that I have a few days off, so maybe I'll get to that. But I also want to get back into this art journal for Get Messy. I want to do a couple more pages in there, and yeah, there's just so much to do. I haven't even finished this yet. I have so many photograph thingies to put into this one. This one's not by no means finished. I didn't do anything in October, which is unfortunate. And then remember this journal? I made it on camera and I haven't even done anything with it. And so I feel like I'm gonna leave this for next year and come back to it then, because there's no way that I'm gonna do this and that and finish this and December daily. There's no way. And then I have a bunch of other journals that I need to finish, or they're gonna come in with me next year. I have to figure out exactly what I'm gonna do for next year and like how I wanna keep my journaling and memory keeping. I'm definitely gonna have a video because I love those type of videos, and we're just gonna go through what I used this year, what I finished this year, and then kind of that'll help me figure out what to do for next year because I have no idea. But anyway, this is about December daily. And so yeah, I really hope you enjoy looking at my past December journals, and yeah, hopefully I can come on and show you what I'm gonna do for this year's December daily. I'm quite excited because I did miss last year. And yeah, anyway, thank you so much for being here, friends, and for watching my videos. And I really, really hope that you enjoy them. And yeah, I will see you all in the next video. Bye.